Most densely populated state, it's no surprise that farmers are feeling squeezed, both in their acreage and in their finances. But the other 8.7 million people in that state are providing answers, innovative ways to keep 500,000 of the last farm acres in the hands of farmers. Pat McConaughey reports from the Garden State.
This is the fun of organic farming. It's all done by hand. I'm third generation here. So I'm walking in rooms and touching things and doing things that I can say, my grandfather did this.
Larry Kuzer farms more than 200 acres in Burlington County, New Jersey's prime agricultural region and the state's largest county. His is a farm rich in family history, and he couldn't be more proud.
One of the things that people don't realize is how much it takes to grow a nice looking plant.
Larry grows nursery stock and produce, but these days he has more than this year's crop in mind. He wants his farm to be there for future generations of New Jerseyans. But like so many farmers, he's been under intense pressure to sell his land to make way for houses.
I would say conservatively in the 80s that we were solicited by a developer, I would say 5 or 6 times a year, easily.
Larry resisted and instead applied to the County Agriculture Development Board in 1989 to sell his development easement. When landowners sell development easements, they still own the land but sell the rights to develop it for anything other than agriculture. Those deed restrictions remain for any future owners.
A lot of my friends really thought I was nuts because you give up a lot of money, and why would I want to do that? And I could build houses and sell off lots and do all those kind of things. So I have this weird feeling that I think we should leave something to our children. We should leave something for our grandchildren.
In 1983, the people of New Jersey agreed that saving farmland is good for everyone. They voted to approve a new act called the Agricultural Retention Act. It created a way for the state government and county agricultural boards to work together to save farmland. State officials say they're now confident that 500,000 of the very last 800,000 acres of New Jersey's farmland can be preserved.
Our goal in New Jersey is to preserve a land base that's sufficient in size and quality to support the industry of agriculture into the future.
Kraft says a Rutgers University study shows the state of New Jersey, the most densely populated in the country, would likely build out in another 30 to 50 years if the land isn't kept in agriculture. Not only does the preservation program keep farmers in business, there are other incentives as well.
The other thing that the farmland preservation did for us is it obviously gives us a piece of cash, which significantly allowed me to restructure my debt. Typically, farmers have a lot of debt, but I was able to get rid of a lot of that debt.
That gave Kuzer the resources to expand his operation, growing vegetables to sell directly to the public, starting a children's farm education program, and turning the ancestral home into a bed and breakfast.
While Larry Kuzer has enjoyed the benefits of farm preservation for a number of years, John and Edith HLUBIK have just gotten into the game. They say it was a big step, but it's one they're glad they made.
We love this place. It's really, really nice. The kids have always been happy here. Aaron has always had horses. John has always had tractors. And, you know, they were always content.
Edith HLUBIK is talking about her children, now grown, and still involved in the family's 500-acre corn and soybean farm in New Hanover. Like Larry Kuzer, the HLUBIKs were pressured by developers to sell.
All around us, it's just grown up into developments. And we knew we had to do something. We had talked to one developer, but when you really push comes to shove and you actually think about houses growing on this farm, it's really hard.
Money from the preservation program gives the HLUBIKs a retirement income they wouldn't have had, and it makes it easier for son John to take over.
We've got a lot of roots that go deep in the farming community, and it's kind of a tradition that we'd like to carry on.
The HLUBIK farm is part of 186,000 acres the state has preserved so far.
So there is a strong feeling, I think, in the general public, and certainly in New Jersey, that preserving land, preserving farmland, and keeping farmers in business is something worth doing.